Notes on contributors. Andernino Giovanni B. is a tenured assistant professor of international relations of East Asia at the University of Turin, where he directs the Tocina Center of the Department of Cultures, Politics, and Society. He is vice president and head of the Global China Program at the Torino World Affairs Institute, T.Y., director of the China Med Business Program at Peking University, Beijing, and editor of Orizzonte Cina, Italy's leading academic journal on contemporary China studies in the social sciences. His research focuses on China's domestic politics, foreign policy, and relations with Italy and the wider Euro-Mediterranean region. His most recent publication is the edited volume Cina, Prospettive di un Paese in Trasformazione, Bologna, 2 Molino 2021. Carlson Brian G. is head of the global security team of the think tank at the Center for Security Studies, CSS, at Zurich. He holds a Ph.D. in International Relations from the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, SAIS, in Washington, D.C. He was previously a transatlantic postdoc in International Relations and Security, TAPIR, fellow at CSS, SWP in Berlin, and RAND in Washington, D.C. His research focuses on the China-Russia relationship and the foreign policies of both countries. He speaks both Chinese and Russian. Kiyovaki David is professor of social science of Japan at the University of Zurich, Switzerland. His research topics include social movements and social inequality in Japan as well as Japan's new immigration and immigration policy. His recent publications include Social Inequality in Post-Growth Japan, Transformation During Economic and Demographic Stagnation, Routledge, 2017, co-edited with Carola Homerick, Re-emerging from Invisibility, Social Movements and Political Activism in Contemporary Japan, Routledge, 2018, co-edited with Julia Obinger, and Civil Society and the State in Democratic East Asia, Between Entanglement and Contention in Post-High Growth, Amsterdam University Press, 2020, co-edited with Simona Grano and Julia Obinger. Chong Ya-Ian is Associate Professor of Political Science at the National University of Singapore and was a 2019 to 2020 Harvard Yenching Visiting Scholar, 2013 Taiwan Fellow, 2012 to 2013 East-West Center Asian Studies Fellow, and 2008 to 2009 Princeton Harvard China and the World Program Fellow. His work appears in a number of journals, edited volumes, and newspapers, including the China Quarterly, European Journal of International Relations, International Security, and Security Studies. He is author of External Intervention in the Politics of State Formation, China, Thailand, Indonesia, 1893 to 1952, Cambridge University Press, 2012. Recipient of the 2013 to 2014 Best Book Award from the International Security Studies section of the International Studies Association. Dam Jens is an Associate Fellow at the European Research Center on Contemporary Taiwan, ERCCT, Eberhard Karls Universität, Tübingen. He was an Associate Professor at the Graduate Institute of Taiwan Studies, Chongyun University, 2009 to 2019. His research interests include the new media, the Taiwanese and Chinese diasporas, and gender studies. He was also PI of China's cultural diplomacy and the role of non-state actors, 2015 to 2017, GARC, at the Oriental Institute Prague. In 2020 to 2021, he carried out research on China's public diplomacy regarding SARS-CoV-2 as a research fellow with the European Institute for Chinese Studies EURICS in Paris. Grano Simona A. is Senior Lecturer and Director of the Taiwan Studies Project at the University of Zurich. She completed her Ph.D. in Chinese Studies at Ca' Foscari University of Venice, Italy in 2008 and has since held research positions and taught China Studies and Taiwan Studies at her alma mater, at the University of Zurich in Switzerland and at National Chengchi University in Taiwan. Simona is the author of Environmental Governance in Taiwan, A New Generation of Activists and Stakeholders, which has been published in 2015 by Routledge. Her articles have been published among others in the Journal of Civil Society, Journal of Current Chinese Affairs, China Information, Asiatisch Studien, Taiwan in Comparative Perspective, and Orizzonte Cina. Huang David Wei Feng obtained his D.Phil. in politics at the University of Oxford. He was an adjunct associate professor at National Taiwan University and is currently an associate research fellow at Academia Sinica, Taiwan. He is the editor of the monograph Asia-Pacific Countries and the U.S. Rebalancing Strategy. Palgrave Macmillan, 2016. Lagerkvist Johan is Professor of Chinese Language and Culture and Director of Stockholm Center for Global Asia at Stockholm University. His research interests concern state-society relations in the People's Republic of China, PRC, and Chinese foreign policy, particularly China's relations with developing countries in the Global South. Maduz Linda is a senior researcher at the Center for Security Studies at ETH Zurich. She received her doctorate in political science from the University of Zurich, having previously completed a licentiate degree in international relations at the Graduate Institute of International Studies in Geneva. Her current research focuses on security and foreign policymaking in East and Southeast Asian states. Rigor Shelley is the Brown Professor of East Asian Politics at Davidson College. She has a Ph.D. in government from Harvard University and a B.A. in Public and International Affairs from Princeton. She is the author of 2 books on Taiwan's domestic politics, Politics in Taiwan, Voting for Democracy, Routledge 1999, and From Opposition to Power, Taiwan's Democratic Progressive Party, Lin Riener Publishers 2001, and has published 2 books for general readers, Why Taiwan Matters, Small Island, Global Powerhouse, 2011, and The Tiger Leading the Dragon, How Taiwan Propelled China's Economic Rise, 2021. Montanya Jamie Rose is a senior at Davidson College studying political science and East Asian studies. She is currently serving as a young ambassador at the Carnegie Tsinghua Center for Global Policy. Her work focuses on U.S.-China strategic competition, the CCP's Belt and Road Initiative, and Sino-Russian relations and energy collaboration. Weber Ralph is Associate Professor for European Global Studies at the University of Basel, where he teaches and conducts research on Chinese political philosophy, Chinese influence abroad, Belt and Road Initiative, and China's Switzerland relations, among other topics. His research report, Unified Message, Rhizomatic Delivery, a preliminary analysis of PRC-CCP influence on the United Front in Switzerland, Synopsis, China in Context and Perspective, came out in December 2020 and spiked a wave of media interest in Switzerland. He is the most prominent Swiss expert of Chinese politics. Wu Wen-chin is Associate Research Fellow of the Institute of Political Science at Academia Sinica, IPSAS, Taiwan. He received his Ph.D. from Michigan State University. His research focuses on comparative and international political economy, comparative democratization, Chinese politics, and cross-strait relations. He is particularly interested in how dictators use economic statecraft to sustain their political survival and how the rise of China changes the liberal international order established by the U.S. after World War II. He has published in International Studies Quarterly, Journal of Contemporary China, Political Communication, etc. Y. Roderick F. is a specialist on China and East Asia. He worked for over 30 years in the British Foreign and Commonwealth Office as a research analyst on China, serving 2 terms as a first secretary in the British Embassy in China in the 1980s and 1990s. He was also deputy head of the FCO's China-Hong Kong department in 1999 to 2002. He retired in 2010 and was then an associate fellow of the East Asia program at Chatham House.